here with Chief Experts Academy on with John Schrader and Michael Anschel from Otogawa-Anschel, Minneapolis contractor. You guys, thanks for being here today. And Michael, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here with us to talk about marketing.
Sure thing. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So I've known you for a while. My son used to work for you, and I've always admired how you ran your company and how you did your marketing and got the word out about what you do, and how, you've always done a great job. So, reaching out to you and asking you to talk about how you do your marketing, it just seemed like a natural, because June's marketing month here at the Designer Show. So that's kind of what we're going to kick it off with. So let's talk to Michael. So Michael, a little bit about Michael. I'll just kind of read his bio here. Michael's a nationally recognized expert on green design, remodeling, and building, writes, trains, and speaks for various publications and events around the world. His building assemblies have been published in numerous publications, including the Department of Energy. He is the owner of Otogawa and OA Design+Build, Otogawa-Anschel, and award-winning nationally celebrated design, build, and architectural firm. He's a CEO of Verified Green Inc., which consults with local governments, product manufacturers, suppliers, builders, and architects on green building. Michael's led the effort to develop the Minnesota Green Star and is the past president of the National Green Star Alliance. So you're a busy guy.
It's been a busy couple decades. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm reading down your list of information that you supplied me. It's just like you've won a lot of awards. Why don't you talk a little bit about, your company and the strategy that you like to use when you do marketing?
Sure. Yeah. It's a huge conversation. So I'll let you keep steering us down the path. Yeah. So, our company has grown like most companies over the life of the company. What we started out doing 25 years ago is not what we do today. Our very first ad that we ran was a little classified line ad, because that's what we could afford, in a local paper. And we started out in the restoration business. And the first line ad I ever ran said, no one ever called a holy wall a saint, plaster patching and repair, and then our phone number. And
talk about a brand, huh?
Yeah.
Right away out of the gate. And it served us well. So I think we've always taken, since then, we've tried to, with our advertising, always have a little bit of fun with it. Try to play around with the ideas. We have one campaign we ran called Restore Your Karma, Remodel. But throughout it all, making sure that we know what our brand is probably the biggest. I don't want to say it's a challenge, but maybe it's the thing that you have to be most aware of. There's a lot of ideas about marketing out there from a lot of different companies, but not all of them are appropriate to either your company or your brand. And so I think getting super solid with, well, what is our brand? What is our brand identity? What do we look like? From there, then we can figure out the different types of marketing, if it's awareness or action and all of that.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting when you say the word brand. I remember in my early days of contracting, and we didn't necessarily use the word brand. We just kind of wanted to have a certain image about how our company looked and what message we were putting out to people. And so we had a lot of fun with that in our business. And now the buzzword is brand. What's the branding you're using for your company? And I think a lot of people in this industry don't, I don't know, what do you think? They don't get that, or they don't apply it. They just throw an ad out there and hope someone will bite on it, which, hey, we do remodeling. We're best remodelers ever. That's not brand building. That's just throwing out a message. So,
I fully agree with you. I made the classic mistake of naming my company after using my own name, right? So when I started this company, it was Otogawa-Anschel, and so many companies do that, where they use their name. And years into it, where I started to actually understand marketing and how it works, I realized what a giant, colossal mistake I'd made.
Yeah.
Um,
I went into business with my brother right out of high school. Guess what our company was called? Bauman Brothers Construction.
There you go. Right?
There you go.
We do. And when I changed the brand to OA, it was hard. We lost market share. People didn't recognize us as much, but for long-term branding purposes and longevity of the company, moving away from association with an individual became increasingly important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think most folks they get a graphic, they have somebody who can do a little, or they buy a cheap logo, and they're off and running. And then the message that you'll see vans go by that has a long list of everything that they do, decks, porches, baths, kitchens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
5 minutes later, I couldn't tell you the name of that company.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to recognize their logo if you showed it to me again. If we think about outside of our industry, I encourage people to do this. My staff as well, always. Our industry is kind of the we are not a good bar. We're not a good example of how to do it.
Yeah.
So what brands really excel in their marketing? And I'm sure you could easily list off 30 or 40 brands that everyone could identify. You could be in the middle of a third world country and you'd see, golden arches, and exactly what that is, right?
Yeah.
There's the swoosh. We all know what that is, right?
Yeah.
You've got these iconic brands, but part of the reason they're iconic is that they created something that was graspable, and then they marketed to it and with it consistently over and over and over and over again, so that's what gets drilled into your head. This shape, this mark, this word, and it's very succinct, and it's very easy to be captured in an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and again,
even
with my logo, I've got the little logo that is the circle with a little house inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
That I use that on
in the shadow. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so that's a little bit of my brand. That's the logo of my brand, and I put a lot of effort into that and keeping it simple. It's hard to keep things simple. Have you found that?
Yes. Yeah, it is. There's some really fun. I wish I dug it up for this show. If anyone wants to Google on YouTube, search how to design a stop sign. It's a fun parody of a marketing agency being asked to design a stop sign, and the focus groups that are called in, they want to make it, speak to both men and women. So can it be blue and pink? And we want to appeal to all ages and all demographics. And the stop sign goes from being a stop sign to being this. It's got a sunburst. It's got a action. It's got everything happening at once.
Yeah.
And so I have a graphic design. I've worked with a couple graphic design firms over the history of the company, but I think having a really solid graphic design company is critical, because that's what they do. And so I can say, hey, I've got this idea. I want to push this thing or whatever. And then they'll be the ones that'll say, okay, we'll take like 2 of those ideas and we can implement them over the course of 4 ads.
Yeah.
Right. So going to just like for us, right? If a homeowner comes to you with a set of napkin sketches and asks you to build on it, you'd be like, hey, I think we should draw that. Same thing. We go to the experts, go to the folks who know what they're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for that, but a lot of people don't have time or can't afford to do that, but still need to build a brand. We've all kind of been there, done that. I work with a client. I work with someone on a monthly basis that does all of my stuff, and it's just been a godsend. And I spend a fair amount of money on it because I believe strongly that in getting my message out there in a nice, simple, clean format, and I like the graphics, and I'm pretty good with graphics, but it's kind of like design. I'm pretty good with design, but when it comes to landscaping, you really don't want to call on me. I'll put dandelions in your yard. So
Dan, I just going to make two things popped in my head. One was for people who say I can't afford it. If you're going to spend money on an ad, then the money that you spend on the ad should be well spent.
Yes.
So if you say I can't spend $1,500 to develop a basic brand identity package, you shouldn't be buying ad space. Period. Right.
So when you talk about ads, and let's get a little bit back to where you start in your thought process when you're going to do an ad. I mean, there's a ton of different places you can market. Back in my days, we used to have yellow pages, of course, but once you got job signs, truck signs, flyers, internet, Facebook, Instagram, newsletters. I mean, the list is really, it goes on and on. In fact, one of the sayings I like to live by is marketing is everything, and everything is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of put those two together. And so whatever you're doing, so the fact that you clean up your job sites every day, that's marketing. That's really good marketing, actually. So you want to put that stuff out there. So what's your process that you go through when you decide, to come up with an ad, and how you're going to target the people you want to get the ad to? Sure.
So I think there's two pieces there. The first one is knowing what kind of ad you're building. Are you building an ad that is a brand building ad, or are you building a call to action ad? They're very distinct kinds of ads. If you're marketing for general awareness, this is I think that you're trying to get people to recognize your logo, and you want them to associate it with something, and you want to steer the conversation around what that association will be. So whatever your values are, whatever your company's whenever your mission, vision, value, or your purpose statement is, that's kind of how that's how you have to design ads around your brand.
Yeah.
So for us, quality of life, well-being for the community, creative process, and outstanding craftsmanship. So those are our purpose pieces that we try to push forward in our advertisements. So our advertisements will feature families. We try to put people in all of our ads, because we don't want to be associated with space. We want to be associated with life.
Yeah.
There's a distinction there. Like when someone puts an ad and it's a picture of a kitchen, that's a picture of a space. When we run an ad, we have a person in the kitchen. And here's one of our little secrets. You never see the face of the person. So we always have the person facing away from the camera.
Really? I've never noticed that.
And the psychology behind that is that allows you to think that could be you. Mm-hmm. Right?
Got it. Yeah. Makes sense.
Maybe, that could be me having my cup of coffee looking out the window. Right? Or that's me holding my child sitting in the living room. And wow, that just looks like a space I could be in. And that's what we want. We want to get people into that emotional, evocative state so that they associate us with a positive feeling and a positive place that they see themselves existing in.
So again, that's part of the psychology of the marketing. So you're not just selling a kitchen remodel, you're selling a result. Yeah. So you're selling a result. You're selling this feeling of being, enjoying your new space. And
you're selling the relationship to the space, your relationship to the space.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So, Michael, do you have any pictures of your job signs or your company, your front of your building there?
Oh man, I don't. I didn't get a picture of a job sign. We have job site signs.
You do.
Shoot, I didn't even think about grabbing one of those.
That's all right. Maybe after this, you can pull some up, and then I can post those along with this video too. So
I can show you a picture of one of our trucks.
That'd be cool. That should help.
All right, hold on a second here.
Here's something we could do.
So now, there you go. So
you got to show the screen here. There we go. Let me show the full screen. Can you zoom in on that a little bit, or is that a photo?
Yes. So this is our Instagram, and you can see we got two of our trucks parked outside of a house.
Mm-hmm.
And our logo is large. It's distinct. It's easy to read.
It's simple.
Yep. Phone number, website address, and we have our slogan in very small print for someone who wants to take the time to read it. But we, in marketing, we talk about negative space, or in advertising, that's that space around the thing that you're trying to show.
Mm-hmm.
And that is every bit as important as the logo itself. Oops, you don't want to see that. So, and I was going to see if there was a job site. So we put our logo on everything. I mean, it's on our drawings, it's on our ads. Any chance we have to put our logo out there, there's a job site sign. So there you see, it's a cutout.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a rectangular portion of the sign. Let's see if I can you see that?
Yep.
And then where the O and the A and the line are, that's all been carved out. It's just PVC.
Yeah.
It's really simple stuff.
Yeah, it really stands out when you go past a job site.
And that's the thing, is I don't want them reading. I want them having an impression and then moving on.
Here we go. Let me show my screen for a second here. So let's go share screen and.
Oh, look at that.
There's your good old Google Maps. So there's your office, and there's your, so you carry that theme through the whole process. So again, it doesn't really matter what size company you are, big or small. Everybody can develop something like that, something simple that says a message. It says who you are. So I think that's part of the brand that you're building. That's not necessarily, it's marketing, but it's not direct marketing. It's just kind of that always there marketing. And, so when people see that OA, it's like, oh yeah, that's Michael's company.
So we put a lot of effort into brand building. And actually, Dan, it isn't the kind of direct call to action ad, but the leads that we get off of our brand building ads, they are golden.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the kinds of marketing that you like to do, and how do you generate those leads that you need to run your company?
So we I'm trying to figure out what that's a big giant question. I mean,
I want to know it all right now, Michael.
Yeah, right. So we have our.
Well, let's talk about who you don't market to.
Okay, so people talk about avatars, right?
Yeah.
And so the first part of this conversation is, who are you? Know who you are. Know your brand.
Yeah.
The second part of the conversation is, who are you trying to reach, right?
Yeah.
And then the third part is placement, and that's subjective. But we go through a process that I think is pretty common, identifying who you want to market to and who you don't, by building a character that you're talking to directly. And it makes it a lot easier to design an ad if I'm trying to design an ad that's going to reach you guys, right? I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to pretend I'm Dan, and I've picked up this month's issue of Pro Remodeler, and I'm flipping through it, and what's going to catch my eye, right? I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. Or John likes music, so I'm going to try to think about, like, how could I grab his attention, in some kind of context where he's maybe not thinking about work right now. He's more relaxed, right? So you build some people use the word avatar. I like to just we call it target market. So you create a person, and it could be multiple people. If we have a large segment of our clients that's in the LGBTQ community, how I market to that community and in the publications that are directed towards that community will be different than how I market towards, say, the Wayzata or Minnetonka community. They're going to be looking for and responding to different types of language.
Yes.
And different kinds of images. So, we say, our typical client, they're university educated, they have a job, we have some clients who have kids, sometimes we have two incomes, no kids, but they're all different personalities. And so I want to know who I'm reaching. And like you said, who I'm not marketing to. You know, I am not marketing to Joe the plumber. You know, we're not marketing to tire kickers. We're not marketing to projects where people are getting 5 bids.
So
we're not marketing to projects where people are looking for 2 bids.
What's a good
right?
example?
We're not looking for anybody that's looking for bids.
So
we don't want to reach out to them.
What's a good example of not marketing to a tire kicker?
Here's one. So I have an ad that we've run a number of times, and it's very, very, very popular. And I'm going to pull it up before I share my screen so that it's ready to go. And the prices that we put some prices in some of our ads. And if I want to avoid a tire kicker, then the way that I set up our pricing is going to help me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, here, this is actually was run about 4 years ago.
Okay.
But we switch out the photos and whatnot. But you'll notice we have here a kitchen, $100,000 to $150,000. Right.
Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. You're putting some pricing right there.
Yeah. Here's a little master suite, $130,000 to $180,000. So by putting the pricing right into the ad, now it was an examples of projects that we won awards for. What happens, it's really cool. When we run one of these ads, we will get emails and phone call leads come in that specifically say, hey, we're thinking about remodeling our kitchen. And, our budget is, $100,000 to $150,000. Or we're thinking about remodeling our bathroom and our budget is between $30,000 and $50,000. They will parrot whatever it is that we've put into these ads.
Yeah, that helps, doesn't it?
We adjust them over time.
Yeah, it helps a little bit. So one of the reasons I called you, it just dawned on me to call you, is the ad you just ran here last week where you advertised your design services and some of your carpentry services. How did that, have you gotten any results from that?
We have. So we were struggling with, do you want me to pull it up while I talk?
Yeah, if you could.
Sure. So we were, struggling with the whole COVID thing, like so many of us.
Yep.
And
by the way, let me interrupt you for 1 second here. Everybody that's on the call, feel free to ask questions in the comment area and let us know who's here, where you're from. I'd love to see some interaction here. So please, everybody, just feel free to ask away. Ask Michael anything you want, within reason.
Anything. So we run this holiday promotion ad, and we thought, well, let's retool it for COVID and Minnesota's reopening. So we did the Minnesota and OA are open for business.
Okay.
And what we do is create these little packages. So this one is called a Fresh Look. It's 1 hour of brainstorming, a chance to pick the brain of one of our award-winning designers on anything about your home that be possible. We note the value.
Can you zoom in on the words a little bit more?
Pardon?
Can you zoom in on those words? It's hard. There you go.
How's that?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So our hourly rate is $170 an hour. So we make sure that they understand, hey, this is $170 value that you can purchase for $99.
Yeah.
Right. And then we have the Imagine the Possibilities. This is 3 hours of design consulting. And it's on site. It's 1 3-hour meeting. We draft, we talk on site, and it's $200. It's worth $510. And for an additional $69, we can do a 3D computer perspective scan.
Nice.
Right. So we ran this just last week.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, then the city was lit on fire. And we have 5 people who've purchased the make my blank amazing $400 package, which is 6 hours of design consultation.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool about this is, so first off, it's cash, which is great. They pay up front, but also it inevitably is leading towards a larger project and a longer engagement.
Yes.
And that's what we're really after.
Exactly.
So employees sometimes don't get it, and it actually took us a while to get our staff to get over this idea that we were giving away design services. But if you think about it, if someone asks you to come out to their house to look at their project, right, you're going to say, sure, I'll come out and see the project. I'll meet with you. It's part of your sales process.
Right.
Right. In this dynamic, you're no longer a salesperson. You're getting paid for your time.
Yep.
To be there. And the dynamic has changed because they've invited you there. They're paying you for your expertise, and they are listening.
Yes.
They're not listening with judgment. They're listening like they're on your side, and it's fun. And this is the creative part. This is like a little gift. It's like something that they are happy. You are happy. It's just fun. You leave there. They have some sketches, and inevitably it's okay. So we're really excited. We want to take this further.
So then you can move it to the next step. So that's a great idea. I mean, I really like that. It's just, it gets you in the door, and it basically, either you go there and impress the hell out of them and they want to move forward, or that's the end of it. You've still been paid for your time. They've gotten some value. Everybody wins. So.
And we have people who come back to us a year later and say, hey, a year ago, you guys came out, we bought a little package, and we have just been thinking about it.
Oh, sure.
Now we're ready. Or someone else will call us up and say, hey, you guys did something for a neighbor of mine, and they showed me what you guys came up with, in the 2 hours that you were on site. And we've had 3 architects out to our house, and they haven't been able to solve our thing. And we saw what you came up with, and we thought, you're the people we have to call.
Nice.
So you're leaving behind a calling card. You're leaving behind a memory. We should have been running those ads decades ago.
Well, now you know. So tell us a little bit about logistics of that ad. How did you put it out there? Who did you give it to, send it to? Did you do it on social? Where did you use that ad?
So we are big fans of purchasing large real estate when we do our advertising. So we will purchase full page ads in local print publications. For us here, that's going to be like Midwest Home or Minneapolis St. Paul Magazine or Spaces Magazine, the ones that are really focused on the home market. Mm-hmm. Southwest Journal, which is our community newspaper, which is widely read here. We buy the back. We own the back page of that for about a third of the year.
Wow.
Advertising that is a half measure ad, I just think is a waste of money. So, put the money in to do something big and visible, or don't, or put in something super tiny. We put it out there in publications for print for previous promotions that we've done.
Okay.
Timed around holidays, and we stagger them so that it goes out to different publications based on their release date and their distribution dates, so that it hits about 2 weeks before Christmas, so that someone's like, oh, Christmas gift, this is it, perfect.
Sure.
Because most people don't buy their gifts for folks like months in advance. They buy them weeks in advance.
Yeah,
barely.
Yeah,
hours in advance.
Yeah, I haven't had it 3 days. I need to
the day after.
This time around with COVID, print media is too slow. And so we put it out on the socials. We put it on the Instagram and Facebook, but we also did an email blast that hit all of our past clients, all of our past leads. It went to all of our vendors, all of our trade partners. Everybody got it.
Let's talk about email for a second. All right.
All right.
I think that's one of the biggest things that most people miss in business, especially in the construction world, is capturing client emails and using them effectively in marketing. What do you use for your marketing? What program do you use?
So we use HubSpot.
Okay. Yep.
That's our CRM tool. So that's how we capture things.
Yep.
And then we use add-on services like MailChimp, like for our email distribution. So we'll export mailing lists out of our CRM solution. There are email services through HubSpot, but we've been using MailChimp for longer than we've been using HubSpot. So
okay.
I've used Constant Contact. That also works. It works fine. There are a dozen good systems out there.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah.
To your point, Dan, if you don't have a system, you're missing out.
Yeah.
In the first place, you got to have something.
It's interesting. Even through QuickBooks, those that use QuickBooks, you can keep all your contact information, including emails. And there's add-on programs for QuickBooks that you can send emails to people. So it doesn't. The tool that you use to do the emailing is one thing. Doing it is another. And again, I just don't, I don't know that, if you don't have a marketing background, how do you know you should be doing that? So it's just like, I want to encourage everyone, keep those emails. It's one of the most valuable pieces of text you can have.
Yeah.
Someone's email address, and send them information, send them good information regularly, and which you do, and you stay in front of people, and you're going to keep getting results. I mean, I assume that's what you've been finding, obviously.
Yeah, I think you got to be careful that you don't overwhelm them.
Yeah.
Past clients are different than past prospects. So like past clients are fans. You can email them every month and they would be fine with it.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I have emails dedicated to when I have to sign up for something. And the ones that email me every day are just the most annoying. Right? Even once a week is annoying. I don't need it.
Yeah.
For prospects, I say, we probably email them once a quarter. Maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
And it is around something interesting. It has to be an open house or an event or it's got to be, and it can't just be that I run a promotion every month. The promotion is only valuable if you run it, once or twice a year. So I think for those people that are not your fan base yet, making sure you reach to them, but not don't make it too frequent.
Yeah. Do you do much education in your emails? Do you put out tips and things like that, or links to
competitors who do that, and I admire them for doing that. I know there are services where you can buy templates and stories that they will populate your emails with, and I think that's awesome. So in that regard, we're not doing a very good job, or we could be doing much better. I think, Dan, you do a much better job than we do when it comes to reaching out on a routine basis with useful information. I mean, your emails always come with tips and also something that you can act on, and it's not just buy more,
Yeah. I try to avoid the buy more emails. Once in a while, I'll do some. I mean, because sometimes you just want people to buy something. You want to sell something. But, I approach all my emails with, I'm selling something, even if it's just showing my brand again. But I do want to, when I do an email, and I don't know if you do this, I sit down and I write an email like I'm writing an email to someone, not to a whole group of people, but to one person.
Yeah.
That's how I do all my emails. So if many of you have read my emails, and a lot of times it's like I'm talking to someone, like to you. And I do that on purpose because it helps me create a nice, simple email, like I'm just making a note to someone. I always try to keep my emails to one link, if possible, 2 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get these emails with 50 links in them. It's going, get out of here. I don't have time for that crap. So if, I keep it super, super simple, and either they're going to click on it or not. Okay. Or they're going to unsubscribe, one or the other. I mean, it's, we don't like unsubscribes, but I'd rather someone unsubscribe than keep being annoyed by me. I'm not here to annoy people. I'm here to help people. And that's what everybody needs to keep in mind when they're emailing to their client base. Now, let's roll in from that to social media, because that's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yes and no. And I was just going to add, if you email using one of those programs that gives you metrics and analytics on, you will see which emails people open and which ones they don't, and you want to kind of capitalize on the themes that got people to buy in and got them interested. Sorry.
One of the best topics I've ever done for emails, it always by far gets the most opens, bar none, is something like the 10 mistakes chief architect users make, or how the people screw up the most. Those always get opened the most. So next email you do, you got to roll how homeowners screw up their remodeling projects. Okay.
Right. Fail blogs and fail Instagram. I mean, fail, like, hashtag. Those are huge. People love to see people fall down. Kids getting hurt on Instagram is one of my favorite Instagrams.
Isn't that terrible? My wife always
really hurt badly, but it's
you see the video where the kids bleeding to death and the parents still filming, and my wife will always say, well, why didn't the parent take care of that child?
So Facebook and Instagram are the two in the United States are the two big social media platforms. LinkedIn is B2B,
business
to
business.
Like never. And I'm too old for TikTok, and I don't have the dance moves to go along with it. And most of the people that we're pitching to, our target market, they're going to be 40 plus for the most part, and they are going to be looking at Instagram, Facebook. So
are you a Twitterer?
I was a huge Twitterer in the early days of Twitter. I don't have the time to just get whipped into a frenzy anymore about what stupid people are saying on Twitter anymore. So I largely ignore it.
Would you use Twitter as your business, as a marketing thing, or? And if you,
I do. I still push things out onto Twitter periodically, but no, I don't use Twitter anymore as my market. It's so much chatter, and so I've people who do social media who are good at it. It's a lot of time. It is not a little thing. So if you're going to do Twitter, you need to have Hootsuite. You need to write your tweets for the day, first thing in the morning, schedule them, and walk away from it and not look at it again. Otherwise, that's all you'll end up doing for the rest of the day is being on Twitter. Yeah. So scheduling tweets, if you're going to use Twitter, use a system like Hootsuite that allows you to schedule your tweets. Hootsuite will also allow you to schedule your, you can create a post that will do Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can schedule those to go out periodically.
For those that aren't familiar with that, it's a program that you can put your stuff in, your pictures and your text, and say, post this at 2:00 or post this at 3:00. You can space them out. You can schedule them. You can schedule them in advance. So that's a pretty popular way that people do that sort of stuff.
Right. So like it's getting really in the weeds, but each of those platforms has their popularity times. Yeah. So there's days of the week that you want to hit. You might have a post that's an awesome post, but you posted it Tuesday at 11:00. No one's looking at Instagram on Tuesday at 11:00, right? Yeah. Wednesday at 11:00 they are, though. Because Tuesday was high productivity day, and Wednesday, yesterday was busy. Today I'm gonna do early lunch. So don't worry about that. Yeah. So after that, Facebook and Instagram are different in terms of the.
So do you spend much money on those platforms? Those platforms are there. You can post stuff in them. You can do a post in Facebook in your, what they call it. YouTube calls it a channel. What does Facebook call it? Is that the same thing, a channel? Basically, in Facebook, you create your own little website on their platform.
Your page.
Yeah. Same thing in Instagram. It's your own little web space in the Instagram world. And when you post stuff there, so you're spending money to get people to see what you post. Yes? Or no? How does that work?
Yeah. So let me just finish up. So understanding those three mediums, Twitter is high frequency. Okay. Like every hour something gets tweeted. And Facebook is on the opposite end of the spectrum. A post a day on Facebook is more than enough. You could post once a week on Facebook and it's plenty.
Okay.
Instagram is close to daily. More than once a day on Instagram is a bit much. So
what do you post on those different platforms?
Aha. That's the other thing. The content is different because the medium is different. So just like in print versus radio versus TV, right? Those are all different mediums.
Yep.
These are all digital mediums, but they're very different mediums. Facebook is text heavy. Twitter is text, right? Facebook is text with maybe a photo, and Instagram is a photo with maybe text. So the process and what you create looks very different. And if you want here, I can show you.
Yeah.
Jump over here and close out of this. So this is our Instagram feed. So these are posts that we've made to our Instagram account, and we try to do a blend of job site progress photos, that are interesting. And with them, we try to tell some kind of a story. So it can be a brief story. Mm-hmm. This one, it's a picture of some zip system, which is a good product being put up wrong that I saw when I was in Baltimore. And I get to talk a little bit very briefly about, what is a poor installation and why that sucks.
What not to do, yeah.
Yeah. I try to make sure that I make it personal. We have, beautiful pictures of finished projects. Mm-hmm. They're gorgeous, right? I think that's a pretty good looking kitchen.
Yeah.
And, then we do things like this, like it's a picture of a flower, and we'll talk about where do we draw inspiration from? What forms does nature reveal to you? Is the composition the object or the object in an environment, and how valuable is color?
Yeah.
Hashtag no white kitchens in nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then pictures of people doing stuff, engaged in the process. And sometimes we'll write fairly lengthy stories, talking about what we're doing, and the process that's involved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real blend. You don't want to just promote yourself. You can. Here we got an Extreme Sales Award, so we promoted it. But if it's just this kind of promotion, that's no good. And if it's just ads, it's no good. And if it's just process photos, it's no good. You need to find a way to mix it up and include periodically things about your community, things about people, things about thought process. Here's one that we did about an org chart. And could this be a job description that you would include instead of something that's linear? Could this be a process chart, that shows how things overlap? And again, it's not a purely linear Gantt chart style process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what you're looking for is engagement with your community of peers. That's what we're looking for, as well as with consumers.
So how do you get people to come to your
and ramen? Yeah. Food pics too.
How do you get people to come to your social channels?
If your content is interesting, then your posts will be liked, and people will comment, and the algorithms behind the scenes will promote those posts. So the Instagram and Facebook are self-serving. They want people to enjoy being on their sites, and so they want to have content that they feed to you. If you create content that people like and are engaging with,
mm-hmm.
then the algorithm will say, this is engaging content. Let's push it forward on other people's feeds.
Sure.
And it builds upon itself. So yes, you can purchase stuff.
Do you do on Facebook, you could target your marketing? Do you do any of that?
I do. Here, I'll show you that as well.
All right. Because one thing I've learned about all of this, and I have a person that does all my marketing. I don't know much about it, just other than I say, here, do this, it gets done. And and then I pay how much it costs. The thing is about Facebook, and probably Instagram's owned by Facebook, so same thing. They know everything about everybody.
Yeah.
And so when you want to target someone in a zip code that is this, they live in a house, they own their house, they have this kind of income, et cetera, you could drill down pretty deep into how close you want to target those people, right?
Yeah. So I just pulled up, we have an audience here. Here's our OA target audience.
Oh, sorry. I got to show your screen. Hang on. Oh, there you go.
There you go. So here's our OA target audience. It's got 640,000 people in it. It has an age range of 29 to 65, and it targets these cities right here. And turn off Facebook. Thank you. And then we can also add in additional interests. So we're interested in people that are interested in bathrooms, customs, homes, green building, home construction, kitchens, and you can make this as granular. You can get that audience down to 5,000 people. If you have a very targeted ad that you want to run, or you can make it more broad.
Yeah.
And then you can also see your ads. You can see what you've spent on your ads.
Okay.
Some Facebook ads versus Instagram, they come across differently.
So there you've spent $55 on that one ad. Like the one below that, you spent 15, you have 194 post engagements. What does that mean?
So this means that 194 people engaged with the post in some fashion. So we could. So this is I say take all this with a bit of grain of salt. It's designed a little bit to get you to buy more stuff. But you can see here, here's the engagement means that they clicked on the photo.
Okay.
So 161 people saw this and clicked on the image to make it larger in their on their screen so that they could look at it in greater detail.
Okay.
That's pretty huge. That means someone stopped and paid attention. So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And 22 of those people went from here, clicked on the link, which was back to our website.
Oh, okay.
Overall, it appeared in 2,428 people's feeds.
Yeah.
And Facebook's got a lot of tools. It tells you here, this is who we reached.
Yeah.
It was very popular in this 25 to 45. Less popular with the over 65 crowd.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the image, it's a very kind of design forward.
Oh, yeah.
In progress of tile. And
Yep.
it's a funky tile pattern. So we would expect that to appeal to a slightly younger or more artistic demographic.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can get pretty in the weeds pretty fast on this stuff. I would say for folks who are not doing this yet, don't stress out about it. Really focus more on a short ad, something that's interesting. Here's one that had people 2,340 people watched the entire video.
Wow.
Yeah. We spent $50 to boost that post beyond what it was already doing. So we saw that it was doing really well when we created it.
So boosting means they're going to push it out to more people.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think one of the things that I don't people aren't clear about with Facebook, or probably Instagram too. I'm not a big Instagram guy, but I'm getting there. Is that if you post something on Facebook, not very many people are going to see it unless you pay Facebook to show it to a lot more people, which, okay, I guess we could say that sucks, but Facebook is in the business of selling shit to people, and that's what they sell. They sell ad space. And so if you want to get it out in front of the right people, you're going to have to pay them to do that, which it works really well. I mean, I do things like that all the time, and it does generate more leads, which is what this is all about, right?
It is.
Well, ultimately generating jobs, but you got to get the leads before you get the jobs.
So you'll notice, so like I'm showing you guys a couple ads here. Well, I call them ads, right? These are Facebook posts or Instagram posts.
Yeah.
It's the image has been cropped for square. It shows off a cool kitchen and a baby, right? Got to get a person in there somewhere. And everything we talk about over here is about, you know, the joy of remodeling and how much fun it is and the creation of space and stuff like that. This is a fairly popular post on Instagram, at least for us. We're not Instagram famous, like we don't get thousands and millions, but 6 comments, 6 people wrote something and 29 people liked it. That's fairly.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a car on fire got a little bit more attention.
Yeah. That's back to that old, you know, people like, you know, that stuff that is nasty.
Yeah. So this is an interesting post. This was one where I asked folks which design they liked the most. So this is an engagement post, right? This is not a show and tell. This is a let's engage. And on this one, we had, you know, 3 people chose to leave a comment on this one.
Yeah.
So that Instagram people don't comment very frequently. By comparison, if I was to look at that same post on Facebook, we'd see if it loads. Here we go. This one has had 97 engagements and 10 comments.
Wow. That's huge. Yeah.
And most of them are showing that they don't know much about design. Ha ha ha. Joke.
Yeah.
Everyone loves D for some reason. So I think the point of what I'm trying to get at, though, is just the engagement looks different, and if you expect it to look the same, then you're missing something. You know, you're missing the point that a post on Facebook that is about writing, you'll get people writing and commenting.
Sure.
But Instagram, they just want to look at photos and like them.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah. So, John, what do you do for social? Are you doing anything online?
No, I'm not. I've thought about it in the past and stuff like that. I always try to get something going, but I never do get it done. So
what holds you back?
Time, probably.
But time, you have all the time there is, John. What's the deal?
I have 24 hours a day, just like everybody else, right?
Shit, man. You know, you don't have to sleep. Yeah, I think that that's a kicker right there, isn't it, Michael? How do you come up with the time to do all this stuff?
Well, it's part of my job. You know, this is 30% of my time is to do marketing.
Yeah,
that is my job description. Sometimes it takes more than that. It takes a lot of time. I think for folks who are going to get into it, you know, don't go start a blog. Don't try to produce a ton of content. Be honest. Be personal. The photos about, you know, if you're doing a business, you know, you got your business account, take a photo of your kids and talk about how much you love your kids. It does. If it's just the business face, there's no emotional connection. People they want to build emotional relationships with you.
Yeah.
And so I think that's oftentimes missing, and it comes across then as very, very kind of thin and uninteresting versus, wow, that person's really interesting and their work is interesting.
Yeah.
It's much more engaging.
So we're just getting near the end of the hour here. We had just a few comments. Jeff had asked, why not use your name for your business? Charles Schwab did. Good one, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not Charles Schwab. Yes, Frank Gehry used his name. There are these luminaries. Their name looms large. If your goal is for you to be the center of attention, great. But if you want to build a business that you can not be engaged and involved in, I retired for about 3 years and went skiing. I spend a lot of time at home with my kids. I try to work 2 days a week. If you want to sell your business someday, having your name as part of the business is difficult. And also then consider, especially in today's social media world, if your name is the name of the company and social media mob decides to descend on you because of something you screwed up on social media and whatever.
Doesn't take much these days, does it? You say one wrong thing, it's like, oh.
Well, and yeah, it's a difficult world to navigate. It's very, very different, and everything happens so fast.
Yeah.
There's much less leniency and tolerancy. So
Mary said she loves your office. Been looking for a similar home. You did a really nice job on that building. You did an incredible job. So hopefully you guys are back in it, using it. I know it's been tough.
So the theory behind that office was we wanted people to feel like they were in their house, since we remodel houses. We meet in the dining room. We have a conversation in the living room, and our sample room, we don't have a showroom in the traditional sense, but we have a curated library, and that library has all of the materials that we like to use. So we can go up to the library together and pull out the materials with the clients, and then we can bring them downstairs to the dining room and lay them out on the table. It feels more like you're in it feels more comfortable.
Yeah, no, it really is a nice place. So Edit says, I find it most difficult to be consistent. It's easy to fall off the routine. Yeah, tell me, but I'm all over that.
Do you mean consistent in the branding or consistent in the posting? What do you think?
Well, I'd say the branding is different than the posting. The branding is something that you can't take for granted. You need to do that. Get your branding in place and get that done with. Hire someone to help you if you need to. Get that done. Then you've got something to work with. Okay, so you've got your logo. You've got your, the way all your stationery is going to, everything the way it's going to look. Hire someone to do your banners for your Facebook page and your Instagram and that kind of stuff. There's tons of people out there that can do that kind of stuff. And then just post when you can. I mean, if you can post once a week. The thing that you got to keep in mind about posting, there's two comments I want to make, and then we'll take your final comment, Michael and John. Post when you can. You first get it started. Get something started if you don't have something now. And post something every now and then, whether it's every week, every month, whatever it is, get stuff going. Like myself, I kind of go in spurts. I'll do a bunch and I'll stop for a while. I'll do a bunch and stop for a while. That's just how I am. Part of the difficulty I have with social media is I live kind of a two-part life. I'm an introvert and I'm an extrovert all at the same time. Most of my life, I live kind of as an introvert. I just like to keep to myself. I'm not all about sharing everything that I do. And, I just like that quiet, introverted lifestyle that I have. But on the other half, I'm doing this show. I do training. I get in front of rooms with lots of people. I have to do marketing. So I have to turn on my extrovert part of me to do some of that stuff. It's really hard for me to do that. And so I struggle with that. That's part of the reason I hire someone to help me with all of that stuff, is because if it were up to me, I probably wouldn't do much social media stuff at all. So I don't know. What's your thought on that, Michael?
Schedule it. Make it part of your routine.
Yeah.
Tuesday, I make an Instagram post. I write it at between 9 and 9:30, and I post it at 2 p.m. or whatever you decide it is. But write it. I'm going to write a 50-word post or a 30-word post or a 10-word post. And whenever you have an idea, just jot it down somewhere, and you'll start to end up with something, that you can go forward and create. I think, I know I wanted to, can I show my screen one last time real quick, Dan?
Yeah, by all means, go for it.
So I wanted to just, because I think that this is really, really important. I don't know if that's popping up for folks.
Yeah.
But the consistency within what you produce. So like this ad, right? Is easily identifiable regardless of the ad that we're running, regardless of the size, big or small, that's really clear which company that is.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Every single time.
Yeah. That's that branding.
That is that branding.
Yeah.
Yep.
So different.
And that's the piece that I would say is most important.
Yeah, I think it's really important. So that's awesome. One more thing I want to bring up, and we're just about done here. I wanted to give people a couple of books that they might want to consider, either buy the book or go to Audible and do it. And let me share my screen here. Where did I put that? I've been moving stuff around on my screens. I'm gonna have to dig it up here. Hang on a second.
While you're looking for that, Dan,
yeah,
I just thought it was interesting, Michael, when you mentioned something about engaging with Dan, and then you said something about engaging with me. How the photo or the image that's on your advertising can influence the brand. It just really influences the brand in a big way. Because you said of me, I've never met you before, just met you just before the show.
Yep.
You assumed because of my photo and the piano in the photo that I pursue music.
Yeah.
And I really don't. This is just a green screen image that I threw up here to have something behind me. No. So it's just amazing how much that perception is driven by what you show people in a photo.
Yeah, be careful. They'll fool you.
But again, like that, the image that you're projecting and putting forward is right. So I made an assumption based on the image you were projecting about you, and the kind of architecture that you would also appreciate. Right. So
yep.
I was to pitch to you. That's a super valuable thing for me to know.
It is. Is
that a chief architect render? Is that?
No, it's just a
photo.
It's a background that comes with this program called StreamYard that we're using. So I'd like to recommend two books. They're both by Donald Miller. Building a Story Brand. Highly, highly recommend this one. This will help you think through that branding that we're talking about. What Michael was showing you with your brand. The cool thing about a brand is I'm really proud of my brand that I built. I know, Michael, you're proud of the brand that you built. It's like I'm promoting someone else. I'm not promoting myself. And to me, that helps a lot. I have a hard time promoting myself, but I have no problem promoting my brand. So that's a really good one. And then Marketing Made Simple is another good one by Donald Miller. You can get them on Audible or in hard copy. I'd highly recommend. Both books are really good books. And Donald has a ton of great information to share for free. And of course, he's got his high price classes you can take too if you want to do that. I haven't done that, but I'd love to someday. So those are really good. All right, we need to call it a day. John, you got any last comments that you'd like to make?
Nope. I really enjoyed listening to you, and I'm going to try to put some of the stuff you've mentioned into practice here. So
cool.
I really appreciate. I especially appreciate your emphasis on building relationships with people, whether it's through the photo or engaging in a home for your office, that kind of thing. How important that is to you.
Yeah. I think that's the secret sauce. I think because it's real.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. So. Real quick, people ask, is this going to be available for viewing later? Yes, all of these streams are posted in our blog at Chief Experts Academy, and they're also going to end up on YouTube and Facebook, so you'll be able to view them anytime for free. So again, appreciate you guys being here.
Thanks for the invitation to be here, Dan.
Michael, it's great to talk to you. All right, you guys take care, stay safe, and we'll catch you all next time. Oh, by the way, if you're viewing this on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel and like this and leave a comment if you wouldn't mind. Would really appreciate that. So see you, everybody. Take care.